I'm sitting here with a cup of tea that's gone cold. I do that a lot now. My name's Robert. I'm 76 years old. And there's something I've been thinking about for a long time. Something small. Something most people wouldn't even notice. I never learned my wife's middle name. Her name was Catherine. Catherine Holloway before we married. Catherine Brennan after. But I never knew what the initial stood for. The E on the old documents, the one on her birth certificate, tucked somewhere in a box I haven't opened in years. We were married for 43 years. 43 years, and I never asked. I don't know when I first noticed it. Maybe it was after she passed. Maybe it was years before, and I just kept putting it off, kept thinking I'd ask someday. But I never did. And now she's been gone for 11 years, and that question just sits here with me. I met Catherine in 1967. I was 21. She was 19. We met at a dance hall on the south side of town, the kind of place that doesn't exist anymore. Low ceilings, bad lighting, a band that played the same 6 songs every Saturday night. She was wearing a blue dress. I remember that. I asked her to dance, and she said yes, and that was it. We got married 2 years later. Small ceremony. Her parents, my parents, a handful of friends. We had dinner at her mother's house afterward. Chicken and potatoes. Her mother made a cake. I thought I knew everything about her. I thought we had all the time in the world. We had a good life. Not perfect, but good. We had 2 children, a son and a daughter. We raised them in a small house on Maple Street. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a narrow backyard where Catherine planted tomatoes every spring. She worked as a secretary for years. Then she stayed home when the kids were young. Then she went back part-time. I worked at the post office, sorting mail. Same route for 30 years. We had routines. Sunday mornings, we'd have breakfast together. Eggs, toast, coffee. The kids would sleep in. Friday nights, we'd sit in the living room and watch whatever was on television. Summers, we'd take the kids to the lake. Catherine would pack sandwiches in a cooler. We'd stay until the sun went down. It was ordinary, but it was ours. I don't remember talking much about the past. Not hers, not mine. We talked about what needed to be done, what the kids needed, what was broken, what was coming up that week. We talked about the present. The past felt like something that had already been settled. I knew she grew up about 30 miles north. I knew her father worked in a mill. I knew her mother sang in the church choir. I knew she had a brother who moved to Oregon and didn't visit much. I knew she didn't like talking about high school. But I didn't ask why. I didn't ask about the middle name either. There were moments when I almost did. I'd see her signing something, a check, a form at the doctor's office. She'd write Catherine E. Brennan, and I'd think, what does the E stand for? Elizabeth? Eleanor? Elaine? I'd think about asking, but then I think I believed we had time. That's what I tell myself now. I believed there would be a quiet afternoon, maybe in the winter, when we were both sitting in the living room and I'd just ask her, casually, Catherine, what does the E stand for? And she'd tell me, and maybe there'd be a story. Maybe she'd laugh. Maybe she'd say her mother named her after someone I'd never heard of, and that'd be that. But I never asked, and the years kept going. The kids grew up. Our son moved to Chicago. Our daughter stayed nearby, married a man we liked well enough. Catherine retired. So did I. We had more time then, more mornings with nothing to do, more evenings sitting together. We'd go for walks, we'd visit the grandkids, we'd have dinner with the same couple we'd known for 30 years. But we didn't talk much about ourselves, not the deep parts. Not the things we carried from before we met. I thought I knew her.
I thought knowing someone meant living beside them, watching them, sharing a life. But there were rooms in her I never walked into, and I didn't even know they were there. She got sick in the spring of 2013. It started with a cough. She said it was nothing, just a cold, it would pass. But it didn't. By summer, she was in the hospital. By fall, she was in hospice. Lung cancer, stage 4. They said there wasn't much they could do. I sat with her every day. I held her hand. I talked to her. I brought her things from home, a blanket she lacked, a photograph of the grandkids. But I didn't ask about the middle name, even then, even when I knew we were running out of time. I don't know why. Maybe I thought it would seem trivial, silly, like I was wasting the time we had left on something that didn't matter. Maybe I thought she'd wonder why I never asked before. Maybe I was afraid of what it would mean, that I didn't know her, that I'd spent 43 years beside someone and missed something. So I stayed quiet, and she died on a Tuesday morning in November. I was there. The kids were there. She slipped away so quietly I almost didn't notice, and the question went with her. After the funeral, I went through her things. Not right away. It took me months. But eventually, I started sorting through the boxes in the closet, the drawers in the bedroom. I found old photographs, letters from her mother, a recipe card in her handwriting. I found her birth certificate. Catherine Evelyn Holloway. Evelyn, that's what the E stood for. I sat there on the floor of the bedroom holding that piece of paper, and I cried. Not because the name meant anything to me, but because it didn't. Because I'd lived with her for 43 years and I never knew. Because I never asked.
I've thought about it a lot since then. Why I never asked. Why it never seemed important. I think I believed love was about the big things. The house, the kids, the years, the routines. I thought knowing someone meant being there, showing up, doing what needed to be done. And maybe that's part of it. But I missed the small things. The middle name, the stories she didn't tell, the parts of herself she carried quietly. I missed the chance to ask. I wonder sometimes what she would have said if I'd asked her on one of those Sunday mornings or during one of those long drives to the lake. Maybe she would have just shrugged, said her mother liked the name, said it didn't mean much. Or maybe there was a story. Maybe she was named after someone, a grandmother, a friend, someone who mattered. Maybe she would have told me something I didn't know, something that would have made her feel seen. I think about all the questions I didn't ask, not just the middle name, but the other things. What she wanted when she was young, what she dreamed about, what scared her, whether she was happy. I assumed she was. I assumed because she stayed, because she didn't complain, because we had a life that looked fine from the outside. But I don't know. I never asked. Our daughter came by last week. She brought the grandkids. We had lunch. Afterward, she was looking through some old photo albums. She found a picture of Catherine from before we were married, young, smiling, standing in front of a house I didn't recognize. My daughter asked me where it was taken, and I didn't know. I looked at that photograph and realized I didn't know where Catherine lived before I met her. Not really. I knew the town, but not the street, not the house. I didn't know what her room looked like, what she kept on her nightstand, what she did on Saturday afternoons. I knew the woman I married, but I didn't know the girl she was before. I think we do that. We meet someone, we fall in love, we build a life, and we think that's enough. We think the future is what matters, the plans, the things we're going to do, and the past becomes something we don't talk about, something that's already finished. But the past is still there. It's in the way someone holds their coffee cup, the way they go quiet when a certain song plays, the way they look out the window on a gray afternoon. It's in the middle name they don't use, and if you don't ask, you'll never know. I'm 76 now. The house is quiet. The kids visit, but not often. They have their own lives. I sit here most days, drinking tea, looking at old photographs, and I think about Catherine. I think about the things I know and the things I don't. I think about the night before she died. I was sitting beside her bed. She was asleep, breathing slow. I held her hand, and I thought about all the years, all the mornings, all the small moments, and I realized I never told her I noticed. I never told her I saw the way she folded the towels, the way she hummed when she was cooking, the way she touched my arm when she wanted to say something but didn't know how. I never asked her about the parts of herself she kept tucked away. I just assumed I knew. I don't know if this matters to anyone else. Maybe it sounds small, a middle name. But to me, it's everything. It's the question I didn't ask, the moment I let pass, the person I thought I knew, but didn't, not completely. If you're still here, listening to this, maybe you're thinking about someone too, someone you love, someone you live with, someone you think you know. Maybe there's a question you haven't asked. Maybe it feels small. Maybe it feels like it can wait. But it won't. Time doesn't wait. And one day, the person you love will be gone, and the question will still be there, sitting with you, like mine does. I don't have advice. I don't have answers. I just have this, a name I didn't know, a life I thought I understood, and the quiet weight of all the things I never said. Catherine Evelyn Brennan. That's who she was, and I wish I'd asked. Thank you for listening. If you want to leave a comment, or if this brought something up for you, I'll be here. Take care of yourself and the people you love.